Okay, so let's go and gather everything that we need to sort out Roxie's ice cream parlour. The majority of which is actually in the forest. So this makes our job a hell of a lot easier. Roxie's actually one of the first 2-star town rankings people that you can get. So it works because it makes you explore, and because you simply have to. You have no choice if you want to complete her tasks. And if I recall correctly, actually quite a lot of them are simply just prospecting here, because you need cakes, you need chocolate cake, you need gingerbread men, and so on and so forth. There's a lot that you need to get. Now, I know I've already done a few things about good old Roxie. But I'm just gonna see if there's any other little bits and bobs. The second tune for Roxy's ice cream shop, because apparently each place has 2 songs, whatever, sounds quite similar to the ice cream truck jingle from The Sims 3 Pets. And she's also quite similar to Bumblebee in Teen Titans, which works out quite well, I think. Now, as you can probably guess, I do tend to, well, it can get rather tiresome just constantly prospecting. And also with trees. As I've said many of times before, and as you've probably noticed by this point, MySims is a very repetitive game in the way it works. Because it's not the same level of aimlessness that like Animal Crossing has, but I'd say because the biggest thing that you can compare MySims to is Animal Crossing, because it is that whole you're in a town that you kind of help to fix up, but Animal Crossing is more about just sort of living life, going fishing, finding stuff, talking to everybody, whereas MySims is much more build stuff for people. So I guess sort of MySims certainly beats out Animal Crossing in terms of pure creativity, but I'd say that people most likely prefer Animal Crossing, just because it's a more addictive game because it's more simulation based, and that's probably the main failure of MySims, is that the simulation element is largely missing, which is sad, but I still enjoy it, even though there are certainly elements of the game that do irritate me, a la long sessions of prospecting and general essence hunting, as well as some of the really long builds. It's still a series that I really do love, and it's sad that it's kind of died off. I mean, I did stop buying it after MySims Agents, but that was because it kind of went away from kind of what made MySims, and it was kind of irritating me that I was just like, well, I don't want to get MySims Party because I've got enough party games in Mario Party. I don't need any more. I was just like, I don't want to get MySims Racing because, you know, I've already got my Mario Kart. I don't need any more. And then there was MySims Sky Heroes, which I can't say I was that interested in. If only because I really kind of I'm not a big fan of air combat. But that's kind of largely down to just the fact that I generally suck at air combat. But, one thing with MySims Sky Heroes is that the adverts for it featured Sims speaking in full English dialogue, but in the game everyone still speaks in Simlish, which is still adorable. But obviously it makes no sense. Anyway, we need to get quite a lot of cherry blossoms, so we have to be around here for a while. This is something that I do constantly. When it comes to kind of getting stuff from trees, it's you water one bit, you plant another tree, you water it, you go to the full tree, you water that, and you kind of flop between them. Because even though you can fertilise them to get a mass of essences at once, one, it starts to make your town look ugly, because then you have a load of dead trees everywhere. But also, it's actually quicker to just water them, because it's pretty much every water section. Yeah, every instance of watering nets you about 5 essences in total. So, if you just keep doing it, and if you plant more trees, then you can get more essences relatively quickly. Obviously, this is so much easier when you've got trees that are really close to each other. As you will see a little bit later on, there comes a point where I will be planting some trees in the town centre, and they are a bit far apart. So when it comes to needing those essences, it takes longer to collect them. But it's just the way it works, really. Oh well, not a whole lot you can do with it. Now I have to say, the cherry blossom is probably one of my favourite essences, largely just because it's a nice, pretty little essence, and also I do really like cherry blossom trees. I think that's partially because I do like Japan, and that's kind of one of the big things that I associate with Japan. And also the fact that it's Sakura, so it's kind of reference. I've got the whole Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles and Card Captors thing going on, because they're like manga series and anime series that I really do like. So I really like, and also cherry blossoms appear in swathes in Okami. So cherry blossoms are always good. Also, my word, we need so many cherry blossoms, this is ridiculous. Like, seriously ridiculous. Anyway, is that all the cherry blossoms we need? Or do we need even more? Oh, word. Okay, I think that's enough at this point. Phew. And that's actually all the essences we need for Roxie, if I recall correctly. So, time to go and start our builds. Because we need to start building and get this ice cream sorted, because we can't have all the ice cream melting. Because as I said before, it's disgusting when the ice cream melts. No. There was actually a film that I... Oh, okay, never mind. We're going to do a bit of planting, because I want to make the town look nice and lively. So we're going to plant loads of cherry blossoms, so it's all cherry blossomy and looks pretty. Yeah, as I was saying, there was a film that I watched, which is incredibly depressing, but it's really well put together. It's called 5 centimeters per second. It's an anime film. And cherry blossoms feature quite heavily in that as well. Because the main thing of the story is it follows a guy and his kind of life. And in the opening kind of story, because it's split into 3 stories, there's a whole thing made out of that the cherry blossom falls at 5 centimeters per second, which really isn't, which is completely incorrect. Because I can't quite remember the science behind it. But yeah, it's something that physically cannot happen. Let me just, whilst we're building the ice cream cabinet, let's see if I can find out that particular detail. Okay, here we go. Here's the science that is required. If cherry petals would fall by 5 centimeters per second, it would take them 1 minute to fall from a 3-meter high tree. They actually fall around 10 times faster. So the whole premise of 5 centimeters per second is incorrect. But it's still a really, really sweet, if incredibly depressing movie, and I would recommend you watch it. It's quite spectacular. Well, I have to say that was a nice, lengthy diversion there for a while. As I've said plenty of times before, I will be trying to do this a lot more often than I would have done. Purely because there's very little to MySims once you kind of get past the initial description of it, which is kind of a pain, especially for doing commentary, and especially because we've got another 21 parts of this. It's not a short game. Not by any means is it a short game. But that doesn't mean I don't want to try. Because I haven't seen that many complete run-throughs of MySims. I think it's largely because it's just one of those games which, well, one, not a lot of people know exists, which is sad, but completely understandable as to how that's happened. But also, it's just one of those games that are very difficult to do commentary on. And it's kind of me being a bit of a plonker for thinking, oh yeah, I know, I will do commentary on another game that I shouldn't be doing commentary on. I've done it plenty of times before, Soul Calibur 4, the Professor Layton games, Phoenix Wright. They're all games that are really, really not fun. Well, they are fun to do commentary on, but they're not kind of made for commentary, because the general principles are so simple that you kind of run out of things to discuss. I'd say MySims is probably worse than any of them. This is probably the worst idea I've ever had. Well, I'm saying that. There are certainly worse ideas I've had, but this is probably one of the worst. Because, unlike those games where there's a story, so we've got that to discuss, there is even less to discuss with MySims, because the story is practically non-existent. And I think we gave Roxie Road quite the fright there. You see, this is what happens when you walk into people's homes unannounced and wake them up whilst they are asleep. It's incredibly creepy, but I'm sorry, I'm not waiting around for the daytime to give you your stuff. Especially since it means that I can, you know, get back to doing my building and just not have to worry about... Oh, sleep! It's not happening. Nope. Roxie, I want you to talk to me so I can get on with your next thing. Also, that was probably highly unhygienic. Bubbles right next to the ice cream. Oh, that was a bad idea. I'm sorry, Roxie. No, do not go to bed, please. There we go. This is something that gets annoying, is when you try to talk to a sim, or you try to be nice, and then you end up just not doing what you want to do. I mean, it's especially irritating when you are trying to get, like, the happy essences. Yeah, I don't think I have quite enough happy essences, so I need more. But, yeah, and it's also very irritating when you're trying to become best friends with a sim. Because if you hit the mean button, then you're going to drop that friendship rating down a bit, which you don't want to do. Okay, that should just about do us. Let's get back to the build. Still got a long, long way to go. Oh dear. We shall manage, either way. Anyway. I think I might just pop into my house. Just, you know, have a little bit of a break in the meantime. So, and then we shall get on with fixing up Roxie's next stuff. Yay!